Hey, what's up? Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. So recently all of my videos have been getting blocked internationally due to copyright, and it's quite frankly just annoying. I have a part in my Death Note series that every week basically I have to take it down, edit some small detail about it, and then repost it. And then with this Hellboy video, I got so many copyrights, so many international blocks that I just kind of got upset and said, fuck it, I'll blur out the whole thing, then try and copyright that, you little but that's not how I want to do things. It's not what I want my videos to be. So in this video, I'm going to be trying out a new way to kind of swerve around the copyright. And if you're seeing this, then obviously it worked and it's what I'm going to be doing going forward. And if you're not seeing this, then get out of my computer. Get out of my freaking head. Get out of me head.
Get out of me head! No, nobody's mentioning your head, man! Nobody's mentioning your head!
Also, I figured I'd mention this now, but I co-host a podcast with R&E King called Henny for Your Thoughts, and I also work a lot with R&E making music videos on the official R&E channel. So if you're really starved for that pimp turkey content, I do post content on other channels. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and see if this works. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And later. Hey, what's up? As you can probably tell by the title of this video, I'm gonna be talking about that other Hellboy animated movie, The Sword of Storms. I have a video going over Blood and Iron, and you can check that out by clicking up in the corner. It's like Terminator 2 in the sense that both movies are good, but the sequel's better than the first one. It's a bit of an old video, and I was still using a $25 microphone, but it's been slowly getting views every once in a while. And after someone left a paragraph in the comments recently, I figured I'd finally get around to a follow-up. This movie is technically the first and Blood and Iron is a sequel, but literally the only thing that's different is that Liz is still learning how to control her powers. That's why I like these movies. It's like you're just catching a random episode of a Monster of the Week kind of show. It also makes these movies feel bigger than what they are in a way, with them casually referencing shit they've done and places they've been. Also, I should probably bring this up now, but if you have a sensitivity to flashing lights, I would probably just skip this video. They really don't hold back with the lightning flashes. I'll still be trying to avoid using them and slowing them down, but you've been warned. Anyway, I don't want to waste any more time, so let's get right into it. We start off with a fire-soaked intro going over Hellboy's origins and what the BPRD is.
The Bureau of Paranormal Research and Defense, an international organization that protects the world from occult and supernatural threats.
We open this movie similar to Blood and Iron, with the team in some dank dungeon. They're looking for some bat creature, and this is what I was talking about when I said these movies are like episodes of a show. Like, we're just pulling up in the middle of one of their many adventures, and now we're along for the ride.
Slime.
Had to slam him out about they bread, you know he had to go.
Liz and Abe get to a chamber, and we see a dead BPRD agent.
Mystery solved, I guess. Did you know him?
No, but I understand he has family. I guess.
Holy shit!
The corpses in the hidden chamber are just that, corpses, so Abe and Liz continue to look for the bat, but Hellboy brings it to them.
Yeah, so where is Hellboy anyway?
So, you know what really grinds my gears? Always in these monster shows, they have regular ass guns, and they never work, and I just don't get it. See, this problem is twofold in the sense that a bat is not bulletproof, and if this happens as often as it does, you think they'd get some demon bullets or something else. Like, either have the guns do some sort of damage, or just bring something else.
And that, people, is what grinds my gears. Tom?
Since the blickies aren't working, Hellboy goes for his tried and true big fucking fist, and Liz uses her not yet tried and true fire powers, and they clear out the chamber. There's a bit of a problem when Liz can't really turn off the fire and Hellboy has to step in. We then get transported to Japan, where we see someone opening up a cursed looking package. Inside the box is a scroll that tells the story of thunder, lightning, and the titular Sword of Storms. Seizure-inducing flashes aside, the scene looks great with a rendition of
Yamato-e and Makimono-esque
art style, giving it a storybook come to life feeling.
The brothers of the dragons, thunder and lightning,
brought their wrath upon the lands of a powerful daimyo.
The story is that Thunder and Lightning were being a couple of goobers and destroying the lands, so to broker peace, the daimyo offers his daughter to the demons. There was, however, a brave samurai that wanted to get some pussy, so he hid the daughter in a temple and went to fight Thunder and Lightning. The samurai was getting his cheeks clapped, but his sword was enchanted, and using this enchanted blade, the samurai trapped the demons into the sword. Even though the samurai did save the day, he dishonored the daimyo, and I mean, you weren't born yesterday. You probably know how the Japanese feel about dishonor.
The dishonor to the daimyo's house could not be undone. There could only be retribution.
After the history lesson, we see Professor Sakai at, well, I don't really know his name. All I got was supporting voice cast, so I'm just gonna call him Tom.
Thank you, Toshiro.
Anyway, we see Professor Sakai at Tom's house knocking on his door like a crazy ex-bitch.
Professor Sakai.
After getting invited into his cabin, Tom asks the professor if he wants to look at his sword collection. Professor Sakai isn't interested in anything Tom has to show him, instead becoming fixated on one sword in particular. We then see the ghost of the samurai and the glass shards, and he isn't just gonna let the professor walk off with his shit. After this, we link back up with Hellboy and company on the helicopter heading home. This is when we see a great combination of character building and comedy when Liz is going through it after killing a dozen Mayans and losing control of her powers.
I'm the real monster.
Hellboy and company are landing at the BPRD headquarters, and we're greeted by Kate, who tells them about the assignment she was just on.
They weren't wolves at all, but the transformed ghosts of berserker Vikings.
She also tells Hellboy to gear back up because they're headed to Japan. We then get introduced to Russell Thorne, who takes all of the piss.
Yes, something is... Beware the umbrella. It seems friendly, but really isn't.
Tom then gives the team a copy of the security footage and leaves for the rest of the movie. The tape just shows them what we've already seen, but just one question. What the actual fuck is Kate doing with the keyboard when she pauses the tape?
Here, let me freeze it.
Enhance. Enhance.
Okay.
Enhance.
Just print the damn thing!
While Tom and Russell are fighting like children over a sword, Hellboy gets sidetracked with the sword and a ghost fox.
You're not a normal fox.
After picking up said sword, we see it's the Sword of Storms, and Hellboy gets transported to the A-plot of this movie. Hellboy follows the ghost fox until he gets a plot dump.
You carry the Sword of Storms, and it has tasted the blood of demons. That is all you need to know, for now.
Sure.
Well, I guess on the scale of dumps, this one's more like rabbit pellets than anything. Hellboy then comes across the ghost of the daughter of the daimyo, and he learns about the love story and how it ended in death. Hellboy still doesn't quite get it, so the ghost fox gives him one last hint before leaving.
Protect the sword, and keep moving east toward the rising sun.
Great. Which way is east?
We cut back to Kate and Russell, where Kate's telling the BPRD that Hellboy is missing and Russell is pissing his pants. While the team are trying to find Hellboy, Freddy from iCarly is asking if this is a normal thing, and the rest of the team tell their favorite stories.
This has happened before?
There was the Marrakesh thing.
Jeez, do you really think it's something like that?
How about Prague? Bombay, March 1993.
We also learned that the professor was just smoking a little marijuana before one day he woke up and found himself a full-blown crack addict.
I mean, some of these artifacts were potentially dangerous. Nothing too serious, just enough to get him into trouble.
Kate finds the scroll and they get caught up on the plot.
Here, a samurai imprisoned 2 demons in his sword, Thunder and Lightning.
After this little powwow, we get transported back to the alley and see the professor's new look. We also see his full powers when a cook threatens to whoop some ass.
Get out of here before I teach you a lesson!
Seizure powers then flow through the professor, and we get to see the main thing he's going to be doing throughout this movie, and that is placing amiibos on his playmat. We then cut back to Hellboy, who's laying down for a nice little nap.
Hellboy! Fight!
This Krillin-looking fool invites Hellboy to his house, saying that the woods are too dangerous at night. I guess this whole scene was lifted from Heads, which appeared in the graphic novel compilation The Chained Coffin and Other Stories, and honestly I feel like I've also seen this premise in an anime or two, and I tried to look up if any of these fables Hellboy goes up against are actual Japanese folklore or not, and I couldn't find anything conclusive. All I managed to find was that they were based on Japanese folklore, but I couldn't find any specific examples, so let me know down below if any of these are actual fables or not. Anyway, back to the movie. Hellboy is invited into the house, and he's also invited to drink some sake with other travelers.
Mr. Lou here tells very funny stories.
I love the story.
Don't let me interrupt.
The farmer dropped dead in his field. And the wife went mad and lived the rest of her days like an animal.
Hellboy declines the offer and resides to his room, and this is why Hellboy is such a great character. Like, he already knows some bullshit's about to happen, but he's also tired and would like to rest for a little bit, so he sits down but keeps one hand on his sword. After Hellboy gets woken up, he starts to investigate and finds all the travelers from before sitting in the same position, but this time headless. He wastes no time in dumping the bodies in the lake mafioso style before trying to find out who or what did this. He gets his answer when he comes across all of the heads having a clandestine meeting in the woods and talking about the plot device.
But it is the Sword of Storms that holds the Brothers of the Dragons.
After one of the heads comes back and tells the rest of the heads that their bodies are gone, they go on the lookout for Hellboy. While these heads are nibbling at Hellboy, they keep asking him where their bodies are, and it's funny having these demonic heads acting so pathetic.
Where did you hide them?
I dropped him in the lake. You guys didn't look too hard.
Where?
We then get transported back to the B-plot with Liz and Abe still looking for Hellboy. This is when we hear about localized storms, and while Freddy doesn't think they're connected, Liz and Abe know better. Going back to the A-plot, we follow Hellboy in another forest. There are a lot of forests in this movie.
1 twig, 2 twig, 3 twig, 4. I like twigs and I want some more. Oh, thank you, Mr. Bird.
And we hear someone playing a mean mandolin. This harpsichorp's horror is wanting Hellboy to stay for a while, but Hellboy's too old for this shit and just leaves. This is until he's pulled up by spiders and we get a grand reveal. Now, fellas, let me ask you a question, and be honest with me. Would you still smash that dummy thick ass? Hellboy is Hellboy, and besides the dummy thick one, all the rest of the spiders are just spiders, so Hellboy overpowers them and starts to head out like this was the Chamber of Secrets. Hellboy makes it out okay, and the spider lady takes out all of her spider men.
On a previous episode, I talked about you telling me that you talked to Taylor Swift through MySpace, and we talked about that.
So now that we have
this
him on
is
here,
actual
facts, bro. Okay, listen. So okay, I will tell you the same story, right?
We then cut back to the B-plot and see Liz and Abe on a plane, and is that D. Bradley Baker from American Dad as one of the pilots?
Holy mother, look at the size of that thing.
This is probably just me since I'm a Seth MacFarlane stan, but I could not focus on what anyone else was saying when I heard Klaus from American Dad was flying a plane. Also, he's 5th on the cast list, and while he does also play Lightning, both characters have about the same amount of lines, and Thunder isn't even credited. Anyway, back to the movie. Liz and Abe are headed to Japan, but a storm starts to pick up and the flight gets a little bumpy. We also get a homage to the excellent Brendan Fraser Mummy movie when the professor's face appears in the storm clouds.
Son of a...
Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see a video going over The Mummy. It's unironically one of my favorite movies of all time.
Steady! You're with me on this one, right?
Oh, your strength gives me strength.
The plane ends up crashing into the ocean, and we get to see some good old interspecies love take place in the water 11 years before Guillermo del Toro would do the same thing in The Shape of Water. I mean, the two fish creatures look pretty much exactly the same, and I mean, sure, there's not a lot you can do to make a half fish, half man stand out from the crowd, but Guillermo worked on the live-action Hellboy movie, and I swear to God they just reused the same exact suit. Anyway, I got a little off track there. We see the ocean floor starting to split open and some tendrils start to come out. But back to the A-plot, Hellboy comes across the man throwing cucumbers into the river and is understandably skeptical.
So, you're gonna turn into a monster and try to eat me?
No, no!
The old man tells Hellboy about the fish monster and how if he carves the names of villagers into the cucumber, he won't eat them. The villagers, that is.
He really likes cucumbers.
He's about to carve a cucumber for Hellboy, but the fish monster is quicker to the draw. There's something about underwater scenes that I just enjoy, and this scene is no exception. After Hellboy and the river monster have their little back and forth, the villager tells Hellboy how to defeat the foe.
Spill his water!
This leads to a great scene where Hellboy is shaking the demon like he wants its lunch money, and this is what I love about Hellboy. Like, it's actually funny and it doesn't try super hard. I mean, sometimes it does try hard, but for the most part, it's just good comedy. After defeating the river monster, Hellboy gets his question answered in a monkey's paw kind of way.
How do I get home?
Break the sword and return home. Break the sword and free the demons.
The river monster then shrivels up and dies while Hellboy drops a Gremlins reference.
Keep him away from water.
We then cut back to the B-plot where Liz and Abe are talking about the smoochies they had.
I was breathing your burps? Thanks. Good. Good to know.
Liz is great, and I mean, like, she can just have my bank information. While Liz is talking to headquarters, she asked about any other anomalies, and we hear that there's storms everywhere. Liz and Abe then get greeted by another ghost fox that brings them into a space cave where they meet a magical old lady.
Our friend? The red one. Okay, didn't want to assume.
The magic lady is just here to fill Liz and Abe in on the plot of the movie. Now, this is actually really fucking cool. Like, having all the different dragons from history and some creatures that are lumped in, like the Kraken be dragons that are getting awoken, is just such a cool concept, and I'm surprised that I haven't seen this somewhere else. We then go to the A-plot, where Hellboy's in a bamboo forest. Some ladies of the night are recreating that one shot from Nightmare on Elm Street, and much like Freddy Krueger, they're trying to slob on some knob to get the kill.
There are other ways of remembering a journey. Perhaps a memorable evening with charming company.
No thanks.
I mean, the way they proposition Hellboy and literally look like sperm cells, I'm pretty sure you can see what they're going for here. Also, if any of this is based on actual Japanese folklore, please tell me the one about the ghost sperm in the bamboo forest.
Break the sword, then we can have some fun.
Come on, get out my face, bitch.
We cut back to the B-plot where the mystical old lady is telling Liz and Abe that they have to defeat the dragon in order to help Hellboy.
You crack that sound, now I mean.
We then cut to Kate and Russell in what could be called the C-plot, I guess, if you really stretch it, and we see that Russell's powers might actually be legitimate.
I don't want to hear about talking animals or hungry heads or spiders. I need you to just sit there, close your eyes, and concentrate on finding Professor Sakai.
Like, I don't doubt that he thinks he's the real deal, and we see this more in Blood and Iron, but this is a group of people that are very used to what they do. So when they see some tarot card readings or a crystal ball, they know it's bullshit, and they treat psychics a similar way.
I hate psychics.
I know, but we have to use them. Come on, sometimes they help.
Russell feels the professor's energy close, and we get a Beauty and the Beast shout out, and these are actual things in Japan. Well, kinda. I guess a more accurate thing to say is that this is actual Japanese folklore.
Calm down. They're called Tsukumagami. Artifact spirits, they're harmless. Just supernatural fallout from what the professor's been doing.
At first, it's all fun and games, with Russell calming down and even doing a little jig with the teapot, but as it turns out, the umbrella really does have bad intentions. Before we can see the conclusion of that, we cut back to Hellboy and the A-plot, where Hellboy stumbles upon the ghost of the daughter, and the ghost of the fox comes back to tell Hellboy that he needs to do what he needs to do.
All the actors are here. The play will begin again. Take care of the sword. Only the sword carrier can break it.
But before we get the big ending fight, we go back to the B plot, where we get a sense of just how big the dragon is. Liz's plan is to just let Hellboy do what he needs to do and everything will work out fine.
He could.
Abe's plan is to lure the creature out of the water and then Liz hits it with the fire.
Abe, no big chances.
Liz, run!
The cuts between the A plot and B plot happen a lot quicker now as we're transported back to Hellboy on the battlefield. The traditional big fucking Japanese skeleton makes his appearance to release swarms of the undead on Hellboy. The swarm corners Hellboy on a bridge, and just when you thought we were gonna get some badass bridge fight, we cut back to the B plot where we see Liz applying some heat to the Kraken dragon. Abe wants to hide in the cave like a little bitch, but Liz straps up and straps on. But before we can see Liz unleash the beast on this fool, we cut to the professor who's unleashing his beast on Hellboy. The good news is that this beast isn't like the undead and can actually die, but the bad news is that it's still a giant fucking monster. Just when all is lost, Hellboy pump fakes and slashes the monster's Achilles tendons and goes in for the final blow. This final blow, however, breaks the Sword of Storms and Hellboy is transported back to the real world.
Japan. I can handle that.
But if you're paying attention, you should also know that when the sword is broken, the demons will be released, and we see just this happening. Also, I'm not sure if this was intentional or not, but they kept on saying that the demons would be released, but when Hellboy would ask about his own freedoms, he would get the cold shoulder. And I'm wondering if it's because Hellboy himself is a demon. Just some food for thought. Now let's get to the ending battle. As the demons are released, we see shit hitting the fan and shit clouds starting to funnel around Hellboy. The two demons are grandstanding and talking about how it's their time now, and Hellboy isn't having it. Hellboy also isn't having it when Thunder tells him that he has no juice and gets no bitches.
Stupid, ugly monkey demon.
Me ugly?
During the fight, we get a great bit of comedy when the Bill Dauterive looking Thunder gets his hammer thrown through a window. With how little screen time and how even fewer lines Thunder and Lightning have, it's impressive the amount of emotion and communication they convey. Going back to the B plot, we see Liz torching the Kraken, and this is interrupted when Abe gets caught up in the mix. We also get to see that Liz is finally getting control over her powers, and like, goddamn Liz, just here's my bank information again, give me a call sometime.
I guess we need a new definition of little stuff.
We then get thrown back into the A plot and we see that all is lost, but after Hellboy looks for some inspiration, he gets an idea. With the skies clearing up, we go back to the B plot where we see the Kraken getting fired up and dragged back into the depths. It's all a happy ending until Hellboy notices the ghost of the daughter possessing Kate and the daimyo possessing Russell.
He wasn't there to save her. Unfinished business.
Russell is about to kill Kate, and while I wished Hellboy would just dome Russell, instead he throws the statue of the samurai and knocks Russell out. The fight isn't over yet, because body or no body, the daimyo is still set on killing his daughter. This is until Hellboy steps in and takes a page from Naruto and talk no jutsus his way to a finale.
Use your head. You just have to forgive them, or else we'll end up doing this all over again. And you're never gonna win.
After all this bullshit, Hellboy thinks it's just about time for a Waffle House run, and the rest of the team is down to get some grits and waffles. We get a full closer on the story when the magical old lady gives Hellboy the thumbs up, good job.
Caught the plug and told him thumbs up. Good job.
While Blood and Iron is still my favorite Hellboy movie, Sword of Storms is up there too. I have seen a couple of the live actions, but I don't remember too much since I was like 6 years old when they came out, but I think I would still probably have Blood and Iron as number 1 and Sword of Storms as a 2 or a 3. Unlike Blood and Iron, Sword of Storms isn't free on YouTube, and if you're looking for a recommendation, I would just buy the 2-movie Blu-ray on Amazon for $15. Then again, I'm a bit partial to physical media, but this is a great movie regardless of how you watch it. The comedy is great, and the action is as nail-biting as it has to be. And this is personal preference, but I like the art style. It's simplistic, but still allows the characters to be expressive and the backgrounds to be beautiful. I've kind of ran out of Hellboy content, but if you guys would want another video, I wouldn't mind checking out the live-action movies again and seeing if they still hold up or not. And if for some reason you still just can't get enough of me, I also co-host a podcast with Oceanic called Henny for Your Thoughts, and we upload new episodes every 2 weeks. Also, if you want to show your support and get behind the scenes updates, you should follow me on Patreon. Anyway, until next time, later.